Hey guys, welcome to Ghostrunners. Sans Jake.
Yeah.
Plus TJ.
See you later, Jake.
TJ Mousetis in the house.
News just in. Jake's out. TJ's in.
Officially still here on Maui for a couple more days, and figured I would try to steal one more episode with my good friend TJ here while Jake is now, I think, on his way to Australia.
Yeah.
The time is going to be weird when people are listening to all this stuff, because I don't know if this is going to be the Wednesday episode or the Monday episode, or if it's going to be the Wednesday right before Christmas.
Like, are we after the two we recorded with Bethke, or
we're going to be after that?
Okay, so we can at least mention, like,
yes.
Okay,
but then at the same time, we're still going to be like, I don't know. I don't know
time
if
travel.
if I'm going to record another one with Catherine that we'll do before, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say, TJ is here. I'm excited to talk to him about anything and everything. We'll see what happens. But one of the things I think it would be fun to start out with is actually something that you mentioned to me a couple nights ago, a Target trend that's going on right now. And I don't know, Target trend is too extreme, but this is just Ghostrunners. This is perfect for Ghostrunners. Apparently, well, you want to just tell them?
Yeah, so I was on Instagram scrolling through, and I saw this Christmas decoration.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, this is a spoof.
Yeah.
There's just no way this is real.
Like, this is, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a like sort of small little tabletop decoration of Santa Claus, but he was not standing. He was in a wheelchair. And I just can't. Like, it's gone too far.
And they're like, please buy this from us and post it. Like, no disrespect to people that have
100%.
to be in a wheelchair or whatever. But I don't think if you're Santa Claus, maybe give it up to the elves and the reindeer at this point. Like, if
it's just not going to work out.
No.
And like, there's no lore of Santa.
Yeah.
Being wheelchair bound, just
kind of like getting down the chimney, like crank, like back and forth on the bricks.
Like, okay, lands on a roof. It's got a slight slant.
It's an ADA compliant roof. Like,
so yeah, I just feel like, peak sort of like political correctness is just, it's too much for me to handle. I thought it was a joke. Like, I was like, oh, we are now living out satire.
Like, I understand different races of Santa.
I don't mind that. Yeah, like
different eras of Santa, but
like when a movie does Santa and he's like a little bit rough around the edges, or he's like a little bit crotchety, or like
Jack.
Yeah,
good
like I'm like,
Santa.
this is great.
Yeah.
Like I can take a Tim Allen Santa, I can take a Kirk Douglas Santa, but I don't know if I would put any of the, like, Santa Claus 5 coming soon. No. Santa got hurt.
I don't think Stephen Hawking's ever going to play Santa.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's too much. It's too much. It's gone too far.
Too far.
Let's just let's rein it in a little bit.
Let's rein it in. So, hey, we're gonna have a fun episode here. TJ's here. Let's get into it.
Yep.
I think this tight beat means that it's going down with some random thoughts and white meat too. Midwest best friends eating fast food on repeat. So come along, let's have some fun and go ahead, get on your feet, cause it's the Ghostrunners podcast. Every Monday morning with Jake and Graham, Ghostrunners podcast. Yeehaw! Forgot to say that episode 288 is officially brought to you by Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. GoodRanchers.com, promo code GRKC. Check them out. All right, man. Well, yeah, thanks for doing this with us. It's a earlier morning episode.
Yeah.
Do you usually record your podcast like mid-afternoon?
We've gone through a lot of iterations of recording time, as you guys have.
It's like whenever we can fit it in.
Yeah. Early on in the podcast, we were like, okay, we're going to like, you got like, okay, Brooke's dad is a recording artist.
Yes.
So he's a children's and family recording artist. Yeah. And he has a studio. So we're like, we're just go to his house, the kids will play with grandpa and grandma, and we'll record, and we'll like batch them. They'll be like 30 minutes. And like,
the old batch.
We'll be straight to the point. And we did that for a while. And then it was like, I really had a lot of issue with that in terms of, I like to talk about what's happening now.
Right.
That is like a big thing for me. Yeah. I just like, it's just part of the way I like process.
Yeah.
And so then we recorded in our basement in Pennsylvania for a long time. Like, dingy, gross. Like
that's when real podcasts happen, baby.
Yeah. And we had this ongoing joke of like Brooke could climb out the window if she needed to. Like if things got bad enough, we could just climb out the basement window.
What's going on down there?
So yeah, we've done it all. Yep. Nighttime, we filmed it for a while. Now we don't film it anymore. And but this is probably the earliest we've ever done.
Yeah, it's kind of we usually for Ghostrunners we usually like meet at 9, but we don't usually start recording till like 9:45 by the time Titus gets everything going.
Titus. Yeah.
I love the idea of like changing his name.
Yeah, that's like we had an employee. His name was Matt Kark, and because
his name is Kark,
his last name is Kark.
That sounds like
Matt
that was already
Kark.
a mistake.
Yeah. And so he would get emails. Hey, thanks, Mark. Hey, thanks, Mark. Because like people would just like put it together in their head, and so now people call him Mark on the internet.
I love that.
But yeah, this is probably the earliest we've ever done. Ours is all based around our children, like when we can like
because you're doing it as a couple.
Distract them with a nap and a movie and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if you missed last week's episode with Jeff and TJ or whatever,
they didn't. They didn't miss it. It was top notch.
It was awesome. Go back and listen to it. But also, this is TJ. He's one of my best friends, and lives on Maui. Runs Walk in Love. Runs new clothing brand Sunny Morrow.
If you're watching, you can see some of it in the back.
Which is fun. Yeah, we're like in the display room right now, in the office and everything. Display room, whatever you want to call it.
In our extra bedroom.
I know, dude. It's so funny when you're like a small business. Like, we're in the studio of our podcast. It's like you're in Jake's like paneled like guest bedroom. Like, it's a studio. Man. What do we don't
do tours yet, but that's coming soon. 2025, we'll start it.
Our employees like have to like whatever.
We're quiet on the set, everyone. This is an empty camera. No one's behind it.
Oh man, yeah. Anyway, but. We're here. We're hanging out. It's been an interesting time on Maui because compared to last time, dude, like, my experience has just been so different.
Second time here.
Okay. First time was like
I didn't know who you were. Well, I knew who you were, but
right. I didn't know who you or like I didn't know you even lived on Maui or anything.
I don't know.
Walk in Love because I remember Jake. You were doing like a Instagram live one time, and Jake like popped on it. So I was like, okay, and I went on there and just like. Said lscustomcreations.com or something like that.
Classic.
Just like such a
you want to get rich with Bitcoin? Message me now.
Check it out. Yeah. And I remember you guys commented. I was like, hey, fun. These guys like me.
Yeah.
But the first time it was like literally just Catherine and I just going by ourselves, hanging out,
just doing the like tourist thing,
resorting. And this time
you're like hanging with buds.
I've barely done any touristy things. It's been such a different. Well, first of all, the weather has not been
raining.
Ideal.
You got like 2 of the 8 days of rain while you're here.
Yeah,
that we get a year.
Like, dude, it never rains. I was like, I don't believe it. Like, it sure seems just fine. And then I've been feeling weird. Like, like I don't know if I've ever gotten past like 75% of my like true self. And so every time I want to like,
you're like, I think I feel that's the worst when you're like, I think I feel, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's like I think I got it. I think I'm better. And it's like, no, never mind. It's like it's so lame as a guy to complain about like cramps, but it's like these stomach like contractions. I kept calling them contractions yesterday. I was like, oh, another contraction. And she's like, oh, I can't imagine what that feels like.
Oh, you poor thing. Hey, little guy, you need a blankie.
It was like, oh, they last for like 3 seconds. She's like, oh, really?
Oh,
rough life.
Can you get you a cold towel?
Yeah. She's not very sympathetic in general, but really when I started calling them contractions, I shouldn't have
That was too much.
I was trying to like, resonate with her.
Yeah, just trying to get on her level.
Yeah, listen, I understand what you're going through now. Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, and instead she's just like, no.
I feel like all men are complete babies when it comes to sickness.
It's amazing.
And it's because when we were sick as kids, our moms just like, we're like, oh, this is my time to like snuggle with them and hold them and be their mom. And so like it has created this sort of like, I am a feeble human that can't function in reality with a temperature of 98.7 degrees. And so please,
can you please turn the fan on for me?
Cater to my every whim.
Turn it on yourself. It's a switch. You can reach it with your foot if you really wanted to. Like, you'll be fine. So one of the days here, I think, like I went to acai bowls with Jake and Rachel and Catherine. And while I was there, Jake,
Top
Rachel,
notch, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. All
Top
of them.
notch. Yeah.
While I was there, Jake, Rachel, and Catherine all stood up and ate their acai bowls, and I like hunched over.
Column.
And it was like one of those things where I was like, guys, sit down with me. And they didn't. And I was like, I just the low life over here. And they're like, you guys want to walk around? Dude, it was like they were running a marathon. I was trying so hard to just like drag myself. I'll catch up with you guys. Like, no problem. Like they're looking at all these like whatever, rock gardens and stuff, like stopping. And I'm still not able to catch up with, I don't know what was going on.
Our line is tell my story.
Just remind our kids about me, okay? So like
I tried
just struggling through, and then went home that day and slept for genuinely 5 hours. And
I
so
kept knocking on your door because I could hear the TV, and I was like, hello, you need anything?
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Just I got a nice text from you, from Catherine. How you doing?
Not Jake though. So
Jake was thinking of me that night, though.
Okay.
That night was, slept for like
he
5 hours.
started to potentially think about maybe texting me, but instead he didn't.
No,
So.
he has his own things worried about. Yeah, he was not worried about me. But I will say, just in general, Jake has become way sweeter since being with Rachel / being married.
Marriage will soften you up a little bit.
Every single time.
Or make you just more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Jake, if you guys watch, our podcast on YouTube, like you notice we're always drinking some kind of drink, like Zevia or LaCroix or whatever. And it's because Jake, every single time before we record, anybody need anything to drink? Never did he once ask that.
Wow.
And now every single time he asks.
That's awesome.
And I told Rachel, I was like, Jake wasn't like mean before you, but now that like you're married and like you've asked that a few times, now Jake has learned like, I should probably ask. Like,
you realize.
like if I ever said, hey, Jake, can I get a drink from your fridge? He'd be like, yeah, of course.
100%.
But now he's like reaching out. And asking. So anyway, long story short, it's been an interesting, weird, but
rain/sick. Catherine's been having a ball though.
that was so funny. Like a few times, like we'll be out driving and I'll be like, oh, this is a cool place. She's like, yeah, that's where Rachel and I went for lunch. I was like, oh, cool.
She's like,
oh yeah, that's where Rachel and I went for lunch.
We walked on that beach. You're like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, oh, the beach we were at yesterday. I was like, okay.
This is fun.
Yeah. But I will say, like, the big silver lining to the whole thing is like, if I'm going to obviously if I'm going to be sick on one of these trips, I'm glad I'm sick or like whatever, not feeling 100% or the weather's not perfect when I have friends to hang out with,
100%.
Like where I'm not as excited about just being on Maui. I'm excited about seeing you guys. So, anyway, the let's talk about the show.
Okay.
The show was awesome.
It really was. I've never been, obviously.
Right.
They've never come here. I've never been around where they were while they were touring. Did a fantastic job, both of them. Really, I know that they're funny.
Are you like secondhand nervous for them ever?
100%.
Yeah.
Like I've gone to see like Nate Bargatze came here and it was great. And he's super funny, but because I know them, I am definitely more like people better laugh. And if they're not, I'm gonna make the difference. I'm gonna make up the difference. As one man, I am going to laugh as hard as I can. So that they feel good about themselves. And everyone was laughing, but
Catherine did say that to Rachel. She's like, I'm going to laugh extra hard at Jake, which is such a quality friend move. Yeah. And there's me half dead. I'm not going to pretend to laugh at anything I'm not really laughing at. Yeah. I just look like Stephen Hawking out of a wheelchair for Santa.
So we're sitting there and this guy, Brad and I sat next to each other. Rachel and Catherine sat in front of us. This guy has to get beside us. And so we do the thing where we kind of twist your legs, to the side.
I'm a bigger guy. I understand that. But I did the kind of half stand. There was plenty of room.
Made zero effort.
It was a power move.
He just stood there and was like, nope.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get up. Yeah. And we're just like, okay. And then he went and sat 2 seats down. There was no one in between us and did not move, smile, or maybe even blink the whole time.
I don't know if he understood where he was. Yeah.
I was like, at one point I was like, I think he might be here to kill one of these
this
comedians.
Dude was 6'7", big old dude. Looked like he ran an impound car lot.
Yeah.
just a scary guy that doesn't live on Maui. What's
had
this
some
guy
city
doing?
miles on him.
Yes. This guy has not been in Maui
and
for
just
long.
dead serious.
Yeah.
I felt like he didn't blink and I was like, if he goes for the stage, I'm gonna have to tackle him. I'm gonna have to save Jake And that's going to be my story.
Right.
Tell my story.
Right. Yeah. Tell my kids I love them. Yeah. He was interesting. Jake had some good crowd work.
He did. He had the crowd participation was very odd, and which is like he asked someone where they were from, and they said P-Town.
Yeah,
which is Paia.
Okay.
And I've never heard anyone in the history of time call it P-Town.
Oh, really? So maybe they were being a little bit difficult to Jake.
And then he's like, "What's it like?" And she said the zip code.
Yeah. Jake Handel said it so well.
Yeah.
That was what was so fun.
It's like 96755. She's like, oh. Never got that before.
What are you? I'm not asking for your zip code. Yeah, that was great. And then what's P-Town known for? And she's like not wearing deodorant.
100%. Paia is like
really?
a kind of a dirty hippie surfer bro town. Yeah,
but man, he played into it well. Yeah. At one point, he complained about the weather, and somebody was like, "It felt so." So first of all, the whole show, I don't know how big the venue was, but it was not very full.
No.
And I think obviously,
which is like that's just Maui. Like it's
I think Jake and Trey kind of expected that.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it in advance. Like,
hey,
we're not selling as many tickets, and so it felt almost like a comedy club in the sense of like Jake even said, I didn't have to repeat my answers in the microphone.
Everyone in the crowd could hear them.
Yeah,
yeah.
And so in some ways that made it more fun because it was truly a little bit of exactly where this person's talking from over here kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so what was I going to say with that? Just.
Like at one point, he asked one guy, he's like doing his bit on being a picky eater.
Yes.
And the guy's like, what'd you have for dinner? The guy's like, chips.
That was great. Yeah.
It's like, and then he's like, how do you like your pizza? And he goes, folded.
Yes, that's right. How do you eat your pizza?
And that just actually got Jake, actually laughed out loud. Like, he's pretty deadpan through his whole bit.
Right.
But that actually made him laugh.
Yes. Oh, that's right. And then the thing that he was also saying, it's been raining here the whole time. And somebody kind of seriously was like, thank God for rain.
Yeah.
Or thank God for the rain.
Yeah.
And Jake's like, thank God. He's like, okay, are we at church now? Because on one hand, it was like, that's true.
Yeah, 100%.
The island obviously has gone through some stuff.
Yeah.
And it would have helped to have the soil be wetter or whatever. But
he said, he's like, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
and so he just kind of backed out of it because,
right.
Because people can get testy about that kind of stuff.
Anyway,
but then the ultimate moment was during Trey's set.
Well, wild. Yeah, tell them all about it.
So Trey's doing some crowd work.
Yeah.
About he's doing a marriage bit. He's talking to a girl. She just got married.
On the right side of the
stage. She just got married. Her husband wasn't there. He was at Bible study. So that was funny. And then while he's talking to her, make fun of me.
Dude. Yeah.
Make fun of me.
Out of nowhere. It might have been the guy's boss, the impound lot guy's boss in the back seat. It felt like he was the only guy in the balcony.
Yeah.
It felt like this guy was far, far away, but had a booming voice.
Make fun of me.
I don't care what that guy looked like. I would never fight him.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
he said three things about himself. He wanted to give Trey some ammunition.
Yeah. But
do you want to hear the things that I thought he said versus the things he actually said?
Yes.
So he goes, I'm Southern. This is what I thought. I'm Southern. I have hepatitis B, and I'm poor.
And you're like,
man,
yeah.
The two on the end don't match the one in the middle.
Let's go ahead and go with this. Yeah.
But what he actually said was, I'm Southern. I'm missing teeth.
Yeah.
Hepatitis B. I don't know where I got that.
Missing teeth.
And I'm poor.
Yeah.
And
Trey really wanted him to have hepatitis.
And Trey was just like, I think you took care of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
weird,
was uncomfortable.
And it was while Trey is talking to the other people, this guy just out of nowhere make fun of me.
Make fun of me.
And everyone was just like,
what is happening? Where are we?
It was quiet enough and small enough where everyone was genuinely is he about to scope this? Is Trey about to get shot by this guy? I don't know what's happening.
It was weird.
Yeah. But it was what he sounded like the scariest.
Yeah.
Do not mess with this guy. I don't know what's going on.
But it's also a weird thing, normally a guy that's scary and mean probably wouldn't want to get made fun of. So I'm picturing kind of an older guy.
Yeah.
But
this guy felt like he was 6'2" with a beard, half teeth.
A little bit of Hep B in his system.
I don't know, man. But Trey did a good job of bringing it back and making fun of that guy. I think he got thrown out?
He got thrown out because he stopped. And I feel like a guy like that wouldn't stop.
It was just so random how,
like halfway through the set.
And it wasn't even like in a lull. Dre was literally talking to somebody else. And I looked over at you, you're like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I don't know what to do.
Like it's just so cringy.
And I know that Trey's dealt with things like that before. Like he posted something on his Instagram last week or whatever about, or who knows when the people are listening to this, 5 weeks ago, about
2 years ago
running up on stage and like trying to like see him or something. I don't know, but it was just so odd. But overall, man, it's so good. Trey, it's funny. I think Trey and Jake both seemed like, to me, unless I just forgot half their set, it seemed like they had a lot of new stuff compared to
they had 100% new stuff to me.
Yeah. You've never heard of it?
Yeah, it was all good.
I'm trying to remember other times that we really laughed hard. Jake does this bidet bit. That was great. And so anyway, I'm really intrigued to hear how it translates to Australian.
Yeah.
Because even like as he was like, they were telling jokes in Hawaii, like Trey, I'm trying to think of specifics, but like there were certain things I was like, that's not very relatable here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Australia is going to be even less relatable to that. But who knows?
That's got to be tough to like go in a place that you're not used to, don't really understand the inside jokes, the vibes.
But then again, like maybe if you're listening to a British comedian, would you just kind of like accept that?
Yeah, I would just think, oh, that must be funny to everyone. Like, well, Brooke and I watched the British Baking Show.
Yeah.
And the two hosts are constantly making references to like pop icons and culture. And I'm like,
right.
You know, like, I don't know I've never heard of it.
Bother you necessarily.
Yeah, no.
And you watch How Ridiculous. They're Australian.
Yeah, they're Australian.
So yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's it'll be fun to hear how it's all going for Jake. But we're here in Maui for 2 more days.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Let's talk.
It's gonna be a yearly thing now.
I want it to be, dude.
Yeah.
I already mentioned to Catherine. She kind of laughed. I was like, oh, I was kind of serious. But we'll revisit this later.
Solo trip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Twist my arm.
I'm just gonna pop over to Maui. I gotta record some podcasts.
It's easy. Yeah, it's an easy flight. Half the time you'll come to Kansas City and be like, why are we here? Let's go to Maui instead. But well, let's talk about Sabbath a little bit. I think so. Yeah. Just in general, you are very passionate, TJ / the Mousetis family about rhythms.
Yes.
And just talk a little bit about the rhythms, talk a little bit about what we kind of experienced last night for Sabbath, and what Sabbath looks like to you. Because that's something that I am getting more passionate about, but at the same time have really struggled / really not purposely implemented as well as I could.
Okay.
I know that like people that listen, I do Dadder Days every Saturday morning.
Great.
So we kind of have this unofficial Sabbath of like Friday night movie night.
Yeah.
Saturdays I take the kids and let Catherine have some rest, and then
that sounds like Sabbath to me.
Yeah, kind of unintentionally.
This is amazing.
But I loved what you did last night with dinner.
So
let's talk about it.
I guess I'll start at the beginning because we kind of like reverse engineered it. So like I grew up in the church, grew up a Christian.
Yeah.
My dad took a nap on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like that was like all that Sabbath was.
Right.
Like you take a nap after church, you eat lunch / dinner right after church.
A big old lunch.
Yeah, big old lunch. Yeah. You're on your own for dinner.
Right.
And you take a nap. That was kind of
leftovers for dinner.
Yeah, that was kind of the like Sabbath I grew up with. Okay. Not named, not talked about, not really taught about, and even in just like general evangelical church, it's not really super talked about.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the 10 commandments, but it's like, okay, I understand. That's when you go to church.
Yeah. So no real lessons on it in my life. And then Brooke and I have run businesses now for 15 years. And so we have meetings for those businesses. We have plans somewhat sometimes, sometimes we got plans. We have like systems and processes and all this kind of stuff. And so we were really struggling in terms of like having that stuff at home. Like, why do we have all these tools in place to run our business well, but not all these tools in place to run our family well?
Right.
And so we're like, why don't we start by building something that works for us? So we got this big poster board out. We wrote all the days on it. We like basically created this like big poster board that we hung on the wall.
Yeah.
And like, it was like a weekly family thing that we would do.
Yeah.
Not knowing anything about rhythms, not knowing really anything about Sabbath, but just like we could tell there was something like off about how our family operated when we would go to work, and we'd be like, okay, let's execute and do this stuff and all this kind of stuff. And then we'd come home and it'd just be like, oh, this is just chaos.
Right.
Organized, loving chaos, but just chaos. And so we started building this thing, and then we like went through iterations of it. Eventually we birthed this product called the Family Plan Calendar. Yeah. So that's where that started.
Right.
And now as we look back, we were like, oh, well, we were trying to establish a rhythm. Yeah. Like that's all we were doing. And we just created a product to kind of help with that, not really knowing the words and the language for that. And so like, and because we're friends with the Bethkes and Jeremy Pryor, and like they talk about that kind of stuff all along. So like then we started realizing, oh, people are talking about this. They're just not people that were like consuming a lot of content around. Right. And so then we started diving a little bit deeper into it and deeper into it. And so over the last 5 years, we have unlocked what Jeremy calls the technology of living in a 7-day rhythm. Yeah. God created the earth in 7 days, gave us the technology of living rhythmically. So instead of a straight line up and to the right, or like we're just moving forward, we live rhythmically, which is these like like these circles that go back. So like every 7 days you get a chance to do it again, perfect it, work on it, tinker with it, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And so it started with, let's write everything on this board, on this, poster board. And then as we sort of like matured in it, it became like, okay, then we were having a family dinner. Then I went to my first integrate and they were like, hey, this family dinner should like we were having a special family dinner on Wednesday night. Again, not having any language for it, just
you were just doing it.
Let's just set a day aside so we can just like do something that the kids remember. Like we want to create these like emotional connections to like being part of our family union. 100%. So I go to my first integrated and he's like, oh, this meal, it's called Shabbat. It starts off Sabbath. And I'm like, I'm just like, like texting Brooke, we're changing everything about our lives for all of time. Get ready. Get ready. We're doing it. And so I came home and, brain dumped all that stuff onto her and was like, I think this would really benefit our family. Right. And it has become one of the most life-giving things that we do. Yeah. And so what it looks like for us is the essential like core of the 7-day rhythm is like there's like we have a class on this, there's other resources on this and stuff like that, but like essentially here's what you do. You this is a like a process you can go through. You take everything you do and you write it on Post-it notes. Okay. If you say like, hey, I'm a podcaster, that goes in the rhythm. So you take that Post-it note and you're going to put it on Mondays when you guys record, or Thursdays or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm a writer, but you don't write ever. So if it's not in the rhythm, you're probably not a writer. Yeah. Like if
you're an aspire, like that's something you want to do.
And but if it's something you want to do, like you put it on Monday, 8 to 9 a.m., everything goes off and I just sit and write. And so again, you get shot after shot at writing for weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months, years and years and years. Turns out you are a writer. Sure. Same with the podcast. Like you guys just kept getting reps because you fit it into your weekly rhythm. Yeah. And so, but the weekly rhythm is anchored by a Sabbath day, a day of rest set aside to like just kind of, someone just sent me this article yesterday on Instagram. It was like, studies show that taking a lazy day is what they call it, reduces stress, anxiety, and is good for you. I'm like, almost like you were created for it.
It's always fun when science like just backs up what God's plan is. It's like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Wow. What?
Oh, yeah. People need community. No way.
And so what we always say is like, start with Sabbath. And so our Sabbath starts on Friday night. We have a special dinner. Again, special is a very loose term. Like when we first started, it was pizza. Like pizza, paper plates, and we light a candle. Yeah. Like if you have kids, the candle does something to your kid's brain where it's like fire is involved. Yeah. This is sacred. This is cool. This is different. Sure. So it started that way. And then we always had ice cream. So like we don't eat dessert during the week, but on Sabbath, Friday night, Shabbat dinner, let's have ice cream. Let's have Rice Krispie treats. Let's throw it all in. Because the goal is to create this day like one day of a week, we can really taste and see the kingdom of God. And so that's kind of the heart behind Sabbath. It's a day where like we restore and we rest and we rejuvenate and we're just like reinvigorated for the what God has set before us. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. I love the idea, like the idea like that naturally there are rhythms of a year, of a day.
Yeah. That's all based on like science.
Yes. Whereas, but the weekly rhythm is not nearly as obvious. And it sounds like, from what I understand, there's been like historical.
Yeah, 100%.
Like people have tried to do 10-day weeks.
Yep.
People have tried to do 5-day weeks or 14-day weeks.
And productivity just.
And it people have gone crazy
crumbles 100%.
or whatever. Like, okay, let's work 3 days a week. Let's,
There's no like moon or sun like thing happening to say this is 7 days.
Right.
Like it is completely created by God. It's a technology He's given us.
Yeah.
And so, so our Shabbat dinner now is we sit at the table. I light candles. And as I light candles, I have 3 girls. And I ask them, what is this meal called? They say Shabbat. What does Shabbat mean? They say to cease.
Yep.
What does Shabbat start? They say Sabbath. And I say, what is Sabbath? The day of rest. Who gave us the day of rest? God did. Why did He give it to us? Because He loves us. Yeah. And then we light the candles, and then we say our family like mantra prayer.
Yeah.
And then one of the kids yells, "Let's feast."
Yeah. It was so sweet and fun, but also like not as intimidating as
100%
made it out to be in my head. You know what I mean?
Like that just is what works for our family. And I've been to Jeff's, and I've been, and
maybe when your kids are 15 and
it'll look
12
a little bit different.
And, 10, like it's like, okay, this is different.
But the heart behind it and the idea behind it is, one, we need it. Like especially in today's modern culture, like we're just inundated with everything just coming through our eyes and brains. So like a day of just like, to just separate is huge. But then also like as a kid growing up, and again, like I had great parents. Yeah. They're wonderful. They're amazing, et cetera. But they only knew what they knew.
Right.
My like our generation, I can say that, right?
Yeah. You're like 5 years older than me. Like, we're some time ago, right? Yeah.
Remember MySpace?
You Zanga guy?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And so, like, the emphasis was on like athletics.
Yeah.
Sports, school, all this kind of stuff. My parents never taught me how to rest. And so as an adult, I've had to learn how to do that.
Dude, and I feel like these days it's getting crazier.
Yeah.
Like way worse.
Yeah.
I feel like at least we had some kind of balance.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I was like overwhelmingly busy growing up.
No.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But now they're not only doing all the stuff that we did, but then they're also just like filling all the blank time with
where do we go?
Let's look at our screens and stuff like that. And so
100%.
What I feel like we're trying to do is like, we want to teach these girls how to rest, how to find this rhythm of rest so that they learn it and it's muscle memory, and they're getting week in and week out reps at this thing that as adults, then they can carry into their adulthood when life gets a little more stressful with bills and kids and marriage and all that kind of stuff. And so, but it's been like, we wouldn't live in Maui if we didn't start Sabbath. Our marriage wouldn't be like where it is in terms of like how much, like how intimate it's become and how just like on the same page we are. And I just feel like we wouldn't be able to like see what God has done in our lives over the last 5 years. There's multiple times, and I'll probably say it at the beach today because today's Sabbath. Yeah. That like, I'll just be like, man, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where would you rather be?
Right. Yeah.
Was line.
we were playing pickleball the other night. We were over at Jeff's house, Jeff Bethke, and he's got like this insane like
great property. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful view playing pickleball. And the score was like 10-9. You're playing to 11. I just stopped. I was like, guys, anywhere you rather be right now? And I'm like halfway like ready to throw up. I'm not feeling too good, but we're having fun, right?
But so it's been this really cool. And again, it has changed. It has we've gone through different seasons. Like for a while there, Brooke was like, I like at the end of the week, I don't want to cook a meal. And so
that's what I was wondering sometimes, is like, does it ever become more of a burden than a blessing? But then maybe it sounds like if it does, change it up.
Yeah, 100%.
Figure it out.
The like rhythm of it, and just like, again, when I think about the girls, getting all these reps at Sabbath, I just like, it makes any effort worth it. But it's crazy as you start to do it. And the joke, they made the joke last night, Dad's going to fall asleep during the movie.
Yes.
So we do our dinner, we get our dessert, and then we watch a family movie together. Yeah. And what happens, and other people have talked about this. I think John Mark Comer talks about it in his book, Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, that your body will literally start to expect it.
Right.
And so on Friday night, halfway through the movie, I'm out.
Yeah. I was going to ask about that. Like if you ever miss it, because obviously this is way less extreme, but like 4-hour time difference here, like maybe my body just messed up and it was like, hey, what are you doing here, man? You've missed a meal. You never miss a meal. Like what's going on here, bro? And so I was wondering like biologically if you miss a Sabbath or sounds like if you're expecting the Sabbath.
Our goal is always like, let's try to get 80% of them.
Yes.
If we can do 80%, like that's a huge win for us.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot this year. Like, I don't know
awesome.
And Brooke just had like a retreat here in our house called Moms on Maui. And I took all 3 girls to the mainland, to Pennsylvania, where my family lives. And we had Sabbath both Fridays that we were there with my mom and my brother and sister-in-law. Like we still practice it. It looks different. We're in someone else's house, but we lit candles. We said the prayer. Right. My mom is like she loves it. She's like, this is so cool. Like,
that's awesome.
And then Brooke had it here with the moms and she walked them through the process and there's different, like there's sometimes where we get like a little more liturgy into it. And there's sometimes when we're like, oh, let's do it. Like, let's read some scripture or like, but then there's times where it's just like, here's pizza on paper plates and we lit a candle and like, let's eat in front of the TV tonight. But like, again, it's just sort of the, like, again, we're not living in a straight line. We're circling back. But then what happens as you start to do this, Saturday then is our Sabbath, which for us is like, we don't grip it tightly, but we also don't take it lightly. That's kind of our phrase. So like it matters, but like if we get invited to a birthday party, we're going to go.
I think I asked you about that one time. I was like, dude, I just feel like Saturday is too social of a time for us. And you're like, well, then hang out with people.
Yeah. If that's restful and like rejuvenating and like, if you're an extrovert and that's like going to bring you to life, hands down do it.
Sure.
I married an introvert, so like for us it's the beach. Like the beach has become such a staple of Sabbath, which obviously not a lot of people can do.
Sure.
But that has been huge for us.
Right.
And so what happens though is like, okay, let's say you're taking Saturday, you're going to turn off your phone, you're going to like set some boundaries and some rules again that are for you and your family and your sort of world that you live in. Like for us, we don't check social media on Saturday because we make our job is social media. Right. And so like that's
it's impossible for you to like just scroll Instagram without even thinking about
without like being like, oh, I wonder if anybody sent me a DM and stuff like that. And so we do that. There was a season where I just turned off my phone completely. But I like listening to audiobooks, so that's kind of been reintroduced. But again, that's like, ebb and flow, like let's tinker with it. Let's get our reps in. Yep. But what happens is now that I know Friday night into Saturday night is our day of rest, Friday changes. It becomes a day where I'm like, okay, there are things that have been on my week that I need to mark off, that I need to get done. Yeah. So that changes.
Well, and even like, you said I didn't eat lunch today because you were like, sorry if I housed that.
I did last night. I was just
last night, and I didn't notice. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yes, you're like, sorry if I housed that thing. I didn't eat lunch today.
Yeah, so that's something new that I've just started in the last 2 months, where I skipped lunch on Fridays to make even that meal even more
sweeter,
feast worthy, or whatever. But it changes Friday. It makes it more of a day of like, let me tie off these loose ends. Let me try to finish a few things. Yep. And then it changes Sunday. And so Sunday we go to church still, but then Sunday we call them Set 'em Up Sundays.
Yep. We love Set 'em Up Sundays.
Yep. And so it's like the onboarding for the week. And so like, we'll do laundry, we'll do grocery shopping, we'll do the things that will help us have a good rest of the week.
Yep.
And then, because it changes Friday, like first it'll change Friday, then it'll change Sunday, then it'll change Monday, then it'll change Thursday. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm living rhythmically because I started with Sabbath. And the phrase we always use is Sabbath changes everything. And it really has. Like it has for us, it has for our kids, it has for where we live. Like it's just crazy.
It really is like very fascinating to me. It's something I need to like dive into more, because you and I and people that have, well, really anybody, I'm sure, but like people like you and I that don't have a traditional job. We don't have this is what we do every single Monday, whatever, but at least we have that anchor, like you're saying. So, that's fun. Catherine set him up. Like she's kind of started making it like a noun. Like you want to let's after the next commercial, let's do some set 'em ups. Yeah, like she'll be like, we can set them up a little bit. Whatever. Just
it's an on ramp for our week. Yeah, and so
it was one of those things. Like Catherine, you and Brooke love the metaphors. You love the
100%,
like all the different, analogies and stuff. Catherine doesn't usually latch onto those very well, but you had talked
I'll
about
pray
setting up. You talked about set them up for success Sundays, and I was like, "What do you think about doing this thing?"
Well, yeah, she just shortened it. She gave the language back to us.
Like, yeah, let's call it set them up Sundays.
And I was like, "Yeah,
dude, she loves it.
It's awesome."
So maybe I just need to like push.
But that's the thing. Like, there's so much power in naming things, and so as you start to call Saturday, as you start to call, like we started calling it our family dinner.
Yeah,
and now it's changed into our Shabbat dinner. But like the name of it, and then like giving especially if you have kids, giving them visual cues that something's happening. So like we put a tablecloth on last night.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, a few years ago, we had to like do a photo shoot, and I put a tablecloth on the table, and Sunny came running.
Yeah.
Is it family dinner?
She's pumped. Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Right.
it's Tuesday.
Right. Yeah.
We're just putting on the table. But like those types of cues are super powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And powerful to us. I don't think we realize how powerful they are to us. But again, like the cues, like the visual cues, and then the names, like we eat dinner together every night.
Yeah.
We call it family dinner.
Right.
Like,
like it's different.
Yeah. And so,
100%, dude.
but yeah, naming Sunday, set them up Sunday. I know there's some guys that in their rhythms, they call it Tough Tuesday. And that's the day that they work like 7 to 7, like all their calls, all their meetings, all their kind of stuff. And so they tell the family, today's Tough Tuesday.
I like that.
We tried that for a little bit. I think we need to get back into it, calling like their homeschool day was Tough Tuesday. So like a little bit more, we're going to push a little bit, push the boundaries a little bit, but
understanding. Yeah. That's good, man.
So,
oh man, I'm so tired. Psych. Did I fool you? Probably because you thought I hadn't had my Main Street Roasters coffee yet. That's right. We're sponsored by Main Street Roasters. You know them. You love them. They're the best coffee that we've ever heard of from Indiana. Also, our favorite coffee sponsor. Also, a wonderful gift for this Christmas season. MainStreetRoasters.com for the greatest coffee you've ever tasted, the greatest coffee you've ever gifted. So many different flavors, all delicious. Check them out. 10% off with promo code GRKC at MainStreetRoasters.com. I love it, dude. Yeah, it's fun. We met because of Integrated.
Yeah.
Because you're the man. And we're like, can you talk a little bit? I know we've talked some about like the origin story of us, but like, bro, like,
so
first of all, just thank the Lord for 100%. Whatever like, he stirred in your heart.
The Lord is good. And so I don't want to sound braggadocious.
Okay.
But
you want me to brag for you?
I want to just tell the story. Yeah. So if you're listening or watching and you think like, oh, this guy's not like, this is how the story happened.
Okay.
I'm not adding or anything to it. So Integrated radically changed our lives.
Yes.
And so my first thought is like, I need to give this to someone.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to give this away. I'm going to give people their first year. Yeah. Like, we had some incredible years of business. The last two have been a little bit rough, but that's okay.
Sunny Morrow's coming around.
If you guys want to shop, go ahead. That'd be great. Use the code Ghostrunners. It's fine. Yeah. We've always been through seasons of that, but like I was just like, who can I give this to? My first thought was my brother-in-law. So I messaged him like, hey, I would love to give you this. I want to pay for your membership. Like, you just got to pay to get there. Like you pay for your flights, I'll cover the rest. And so he started changing his life.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago.
And I was like, so I'll go a little further back. My parents, we grew up poor. I never knew that. So ever. Yeah. I thought Olive Garden was like the fanciest restaurant you could ever go to in the history of time.
I think Olive Garden might have been fancier back in the day.
There are wheels on the stairs. I don't know how fancy it is.
Unlimited breadsticks. Like
you are
what's better luxury than that,
in luxury.
Dude, there's something about like those like chain bar and grills that I think went downhill.
Yeah.
For a while it was like Applebee's is nice. Guys. Yeah. I swear. Yeah.
But so like there's this family story where my parents, we didn't have a lot of money. For dessert, sometimes they would bring out like that big can of peaches. And
yeah. Nice, yeah.
But
the
big
can, aluminum can.
Yeah. And they would sell it as like we got peaches tonight.
Yeah.
And we thought it was like the biggest delicacy you could ever eat. They named it, they sold it, and it wasn't until high school when I was like, a can of peaches is like $1.49.
They just we brought those to the canned food drive at the food pantry.
Yeah. And so but my parents were always incredibly generous. Yeah. Like I've just seen them give and give and give, even with the little that they had.
Yes.
And so they really like set the stage for me and my siblings. I was like, we're going to be givers. Like that's just going to be part of our family. It's part of their family culture. It's been like, it's ushered into our family culture. So I try to give it. I love giving things away.
Yes.
So started with integrated, like went integrated, changed my life. Gave it to my brother-in-law Taylor, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this a yearly thing. Yeah. I'm going to give a TJ scholarship every year. I'm going to name it
the TJ the memorial.
Yeah, like, and so
you died defending Trey like, on stage, and so now it's in your memorial.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think I could have taken that guy? No.
Yeah. You could have bitten his ankles a little bit. Yeah.
And so I gave another one away to my friend who lives on Island, Ian.
Yep.
And that same year, Brooke came in. I remember I was painting the room that you're staying in. I was painting that room.
Okay.
Brooke came in. She's like, So Brooke is the real hero.
Oh, I thought it was you.
No, she comes in and she's like, I don't know why I feel this, but like, ever think about like maybe offering integrated to Brad? And I was like, sure.
You were like, who?
And I was like, okay. So then I text Jake and I was like, hey, do you have Brad's number? And he's like, sure, here it is. And then I text.
I think so. Yeah.
And I was like, or can I have Brad's number?
Yeah.
He's like, Brad, who?
Yeah.
And so then I text you and I was like, hey, this is on me. Like,
no way.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, Brooke came in. Yeah. And I was painting.
Wow.
And now you're staying in that room.
Dude, that's wild.
So cool.
So because she listened.
She was just like listening to an episode.
Like, she doesn't listen to every episode.
No, she's like, Brooke is I married a quasi psychopath.
We all do.
Yeah, I mean,
if you didn't, what's the point?
Who, when sometimes driving, drives in silence.
Dude, maybe I'm a semi-psych. I drive in silence all the time.
Oh gosh,
all the time.
Do you like? Who do you sit and who are you friends with that guy that was sitting next to me? Like, do you ever have that moment?
But I'm never silent because I have my thoughts. That's when you sound like a psychopath.
I'm always.
I always have my feelings inside me.
What are you talking about? I talk the whole time in the car. Oh, Brad's on the phone. He's not.
There's 5 different people in here. What are you talking about? Yeah.
And so, but occasionally she's like, I don't want to listen to music. I don't want to I don't want to absorb anything deep.
I don't want to learn anything.
I'll listen to Ghostrunners.
I don't want to be challenged. I don't want to be convicted of anything. I don't want to feel like I'm worse than anybody else.
In fact, I think I want to feel better than someone. Exactly. Yeah. So why don't I just pop on Ghostrunners with Jake and Brad?
Why not? Yeah.
So it's my Good Ranchers.
Right. Yeah, that's right. You better believe it, brother.
But anyways, so she again, what you guys do is such a gift. It's so good. Like it is just it is entertainment at its purest form. And so it is just a gift from the Lord that you guys have. And so she sometimes is like, I just want that. I just want to laugh and feel good and smile.
Yeah.
So she's just driving by herself smiling. You
believe this?
Yeah. And so, she had just listened to an episode and then just, came in and asked, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I just truly believe that if you feel like that inclining from the Lord, if you feel like, and this is kind of like a philosophy, if I feel like I think of someone, I text them.
Yeah.
And I just think as you, again, practice that muscle memory, it becomes easier and easier. And you're just let's just do this.
Right.
It's never being obedient to sort of that moment has always brought peace to us. Yeah. And so now we just try to follow that over and over again.
And did you guys, maybe I shouldn't put this in your, maybe you didn't, but I think we've talked about an integrated before, the idea of the abundance fund. Is that kind of where it stemmed from? Or
so we take a portion of our money and we put it in this fund that we, wherever the Lord leads us, sometimes that's, to church, sometimes that's to missions, sometimes that's to things like this. And that's just it then makes the yes even easier because you're that adds up to what we were trying to do.
Because when you're running a business and things are going well, you're like, oh, this is awesome. But then now the standard is different. So I'm going to set a new standard. Yeah. And so if you don't have some kind of limits, this is how much our, A+ is. So where we can add this, money off the side or whatever. So.
And so it was so then we met in Austin.
Yeah.
And
it was crazy. Met Ian first. He was the first one I met because he was sitting by himself. And I was like, I don't know. Have you heard me talk about that on the podcast? The first time I walked into Integrated, it was so it was one of the most like not emotional things ever, but like the most emotional things in the last like 5 years probably for me, because it was like I don't know anybody here. I'm kind of scared, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, and my dad dropped me off. Did you know that? My dad, my mom and dad were in town in Austin visiting my cousin. And so my dad like literally like drove me there, and I was like, okay, Dad, bye. And with my luggage, just like walked into this place, and it kind of like had to like
He's
take
like,
a few deep
"Here,
breaths.
son."
Yeah.
He gives you a 20.
Yeah. Hey, be good to those kids. Yeah. Yeah. Just compliment their shoes. That'll help you. And I walk in, you know, after
You're a strong boy, Brad.
I can do this. I can do this. I walk in. No one acknowledges people. Like, no one even looks at me. And so I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. And so I found a bathroom and just like
Took a quick dump.
like tried to pee, like didn't really have anything come out, you know, but I was like, well, maybe, you never know. And yeah, got out, and I was like, I'm just going to talk to the first person that I make eye contact with.
Okay.
And so Ian was sitting by himself.
Okay.
Pretty confidently. I
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
He's
it's
just doing
just-
fine. Yeah. Freaking jacked out of his mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll sit with Ian and hang out and talk to him, because you were talking to somebody else.
Okay.
And then eventually talk to you, and yeah, hit it off with you forever, man. So,
And what's crazy is like I just love to see like go back and follow that path of like how that happened. So like we had just for 1 year, we had 2018 was like one of our hardest years. At the end of the year, we're like, all right, we're gonna stop walking love. Like we're just going to like, we just felt like the Lord was just like, lay it down at my feet and trust me. So we did. And it was like 2 weeks later, Jeff invites me to be part of this like influencer group that he's starting called the Influencer Inner Circle. And I'm like, all right, like maybe that like, let's, you know, we just did this and then this comes. So let's play that out.
Right.
We go to it. It was good.
But you were not even doing Walk in Love the first time you went to this.
No, we had just stopped it. So when everyone went around and introduced themselves, we were last. We were like, we are sort of unemployed.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what's next for us.
Yeah.
And it was funny. The first night we went in that, I don't know why we got invited. Like it's one of those things where you're like, we don't really belong here.
Yeah. Providential. Yeah.
You know, like we're in this like the first night is like this dinner, and Brooke leans over to me and she goes, we are the poorest people here.
I'd rather be that sometimes than like the other way around. Yeah.
You know, she's like, I was like, how do you know? She's like, I just tell by what people are wearing.
We got our clothes at Ross. What do you mean?
Yeah. I was like, we can afford as many cans of peaches as we want.
Yeah. You think these guys have bigger cans of peaches than me, babe? I think we're doing just fine.
Just fine. But that's how I met Trey.
Okay.
And then the last meetup, Trey brought Jake.
Yes.
And so Jake and I hit it off. And I was like, this guy's great.
Oh, yeah.
And so then so to think that like Jeff invited me, I met Jake, met you, then I invited you, you meet Jeff. Like, it's just so cool to just like see that sort of thing happen.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's awesome.
In its own time too. Cause I remember there was one point where Jake texted me or called me or something, and he was like, hey, what are you doing this weekend or something? I was like, and I had plans. And he's like, okay, I'm supposed to be going to this influencer conference thing, and they like everyone else is a couple, and I'm not dating anybody, so I thought maybe you could be my plus one. And so I think like maybe the next year or something, I would have gone with him. And what if I would have been like a punk, or like, I don't know, what if I wouldn't hit it off, and then all of a sudden you're like,
but then that group kind of crumbled. Like the two people running it kind of had differences, big differences.
Theological differences,
and so kind of disbanded, and then Jeff started integrated with Jeremy, and that's been like, we're in year 5 now.
Oh yeah, I think if you love Ghostrunners for what it is now, you should thank TJ in part for it, because there's so much of you interwoven in whatever, and so much of the Good Ranchers. Like Good Ranchers would not be around if it weren't so strong, would not be a sponsor if it weren't for, integrated all these different things. So, just crazy small world, man. So just the Lord blessing us and watching over us. And thanks for, I don't know, just believing in me. Thanks for Brooke. I don't know. I didn't realize it was, I always gave you all the credit.
I think, I'm pretty sure I sometimes don't have the best memory, but I remember painting like,
yes,
very specifically. I was painting that room.
You were when you had the conversation. I remember I was going to the bathroom.
Nice.
Was it January or something? Maybe like
it was like, hey, it's coming up. Like,
like February was when the conference was. You're like, it's in like 4 weeks. I was like, yeah, okay, sure. My dad's going to be down there already anyway.
So I got free rides. Let me just text my parents. See if they can
save $25 on an Uber.
So no big deal. Integrated. But there's always this moment, and you probably felt this when you joined, like there's always this huge moment of imposter syndrome. You walk in and you're like, this guy, like people are saying words I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Something about finances.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
What's an interest rate? I know that. Yeah.
PMI?
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But then as you go and do that like hard thing once, it just becomes this really cool, like if you allow it, if you step into it, it becomes this really cool thing that you just, you get so much goodness out of.
You did a really good job. And it's kind of like your calling card now. I feel like the first night being like, hey, you're going to feel overwhelmed.
You're going to feel like,
I promise you, the Lord has you here for a reason. And you said that, and I was like, thanks, man. I needed that. I do feel those things.
Yeah.
And then I remember the first time, like the first conference, every time I had a thought of like, that'd be a funny thing to say, you said it. And I was like, dang, I have no role. I have no role
my
here.
point here?
I'm not the financial guy. I'm not the billionaire.
I'm not as strong as Ian.
Yeah. I'm not from some like Olympic wrestler like this guy. I'm supposed to be funny, and this guy's taking it already.
Seats taken.
Yeah, exactly. So, good times, man. Okay, let's do. I don't know how much time.
We're at 55 minutes.
Okay,
but we're good. We're. It's your world, Brad.
I prepared a little game for us, TJ.
Okay.
There's 40 questions. We might just. So you, if you're a Patreon member here on Ghostrunners, about Sporkle. We've been playing Sporkle. I mentioned it to you the other day.
Yeah, never heard of it.
You made some funny jokes about Sporkle, but you've never played it.
Me and Brooke Sporkle occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's Sabbath, so anyway, there's all sorts of games about different things on Sporkle.com.
Okay.
Sponsor of the, no, I'm just kidding. But one of them is an Office game.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many Office quizzes. But you and I love The Office.
Okay.
And I think I want to quiz you. This one specifically is about office pranks. It says, can you name the pranks that Jim has pulled off in the office? So there's going to be these questions, and it has the episode next to it. So I'll give you the episode hint if you need it. And then you just try to answer one way or the other.
Let's do it.
Okay, there's 40 of them. So if you don't know it, we're gonna keep going. We're not going to dwell on it for more than 15 seconds.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. First one's easy. So, okay.
Michael Scott.
Puts Dwight's stapler in this substance.
Jello.
Very good. Helps Pam invent such diseases as this one, where your teeth turn into liquid and then drip down the back of your throat.
It's something itis. I don't know.
It's not pretendinitis. It's like...
no, isn't it that?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretendinitis.
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's like hydropalagian or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
whatever. We're not going to worry about that one. Convinces Dwight to hide in this to eavesdrop on a rival alliance.
Box.
Yeah.
In the warehouse.
But in the warehouse. With Pam, posts this document online on Dwight's behalf, but does not include martial arts training.
His resume.
Very good. Moves Dwight's desk here.
Bathroom.
Convinces Dwight it is this day, causing him to miss work the next day.
Friday. Well, yeah, he convinces him Thursday is Friday.
Yes, Friday. Puts Dwight's belongings in one of these, forcing him to buy them back.
Vending machine. Classic.
Yeah, that is great. Helps Dwight with his speech by giving him examples from leaders such as this person.
Mussolini.
Yeah.
We are the wheels of time.
Yeah, we are the of history. Yeah. In an interview, tries to convince Dwight that Dwight has used this substance,
marijuana. Yeah. Because there's the later interview where they're interviewing him on the like fake radio show.
Oh, right.
But they don't. They make him take his clothes off.
That is a great.
Yeah.
I'm sure that comes up eventually. I think these are in like chronological order. Okay, now we got a bunch from conflict resolution episodes.
Okay.
Replaces Dwight's pens and pencils with these.
Pens and pencils.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Crayons, maybe, or like.
I don't know that one.
I wrote that crayons is the answer. I don't know. Pays his coworkers.
He doesn't do it. He's just telling the camera.
He's like
yeah. Okay.
Simple macro. Yeah, all those different ones.
Yeah.
Pays his coworkers to call Dwight this name for a day. Dwayne?
Dwayne, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Puts this in Dwight's office drawer to convince Dwight he's killed someone. I don't remember
that one.
A bloody knife. Knife. Oh, knife's an answer to a different one. I don't know that one.
Knife is like the really advanced prank where he like puts he goes on a treasure hunt.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
A knife. It's like in a folder.
Tells Dwight one of these is in the women's room.
Oh, the slasher. Yeah.
No, stalker. One of these is in the women's room.
Man, I don't remember that either.
These are all from conflict resolution still.
I just feel like he lists them off so quickly.
Yeah.
That I don't remember all of it.
Uses a macro to replace Dwight with this word in his documents. I remember that one.
Oh, what's that one?
Diapers. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's a simple macro. I just remember saying that. It's like when you say them all in a row like this. It's not that funny. Adds these to Dwight's phone.
Pennies or nickels or something.
Yeah.
Nickels. Yeah, it's nickels.
Moves Dwight's desk incrementally closer to this machine. Fax copier.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Alters Dwight's ID badge to label him as this.
Security threat.
Yeah. With Pam's help, demonstrates this superpower to Dwight's astonishment.
Like ability to move things with your mind.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Telekinesis?
Yeah.
That didn't work unless I spelled it wrong.
ESP or like something like that. I don't know.
I spelled it wrong. Okay. Causes Dwight to fold in poker by pretending this action is his tell.
He sneezes or coughs. Coughs.
Yeah. Every time I cough, he folds. Repeats the prank from Pilot on this new victim.
Andy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
puts
now
Andy
it's
singing.
more than just Dwight.
Yeah.
Sends Dwight this device after telling him it's sold out at Sharper Image.
The Gator.
Gator. That was such like an insult back in the
Yeah.
day. Oh, my Gator's going off on you. Sends faxes to Dwight allegedly from this person.
Himself in the future.
Yeah.
Future Dwight.
Future Dwight. Gives Andy bad tips on how to woo this person.
Pam.
Joins Pam in recruiting Dwight for this agency.
CIA.
Yeah. Destroy phone.
Maybe they'll send a helicopter.
In the same prank, makes Dwight destroy this.
No, it destroys phone.
Yeah. Hides Andy's cell phone here before calling it repeatedly.
In the ceiling.
Convinces Dwight that this impersonator is the real thing.
Ben Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm on a roll.
I don't care.
Yeah.
What Jim says. I am 99% sure it's not the real Ben Franklin. Trains Dwight to expect one of these whenever he hears a chime.
Altoid.
Yeah. Dwight? Convinces Dwight to keep this type of person out of the wedding.
Wedding crasher.
Yeah. Convinces Dwight that Jim is turning into this.
Vampire.
Dresses up
I
as,
feel so strong.
yeah. Night, Dwight. Yeah, he like pulls his collar up. Dresses up as Dwight and debates which one of these is best.
Bears beats Battlestar.
Yeah,
or what
yeah.
Bear is best.
Bears.
Bear, yeah.
Tells Dwight the flasher is in this location in the women's room.
Oh, that's the bathroom. So what does he say is in there?
Is in this, the mirror.
The mirror. Yeah, in the women's
Above the
bathroom.
sink,
Yeah,
yeah.
above the sink.
With Pam, convinces Dwight that this entity has become sentient.
Oh, the Dunder Mifflin website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the new website. Dunder Mifflinity.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should push it together.
Yeah. Takes Dwight's calls by linking Dwight's cell phone to this device.
His Bluetooth.
Yeah. Uses this device to prove that Dwight steals company time.
Stopwatch.
Stopwatch.
Yeah.
Replaces Dwight's desk and chair with substitutes covered in this.
Wrapping paper. Is that
Dude,
the wrapping
that's
paper?
one of my
Yeah, that's so good.
If I could skin a mule deer in under 10 minutes, whatever. That him falling from that, and then also him getting
The balloon
yes,
popped.
That was like one of my like first favorite scenes from The Office is when how much does that cost? Oh, it's not that expensive, like $20.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way he grabs the
Yeah,
scissors.
the way he like kind of like throws them up to
Yeah.
himself and grabs them. Okay, 3 more. Links Dwight's computer with a red wire to this.
Telephone pole.
Yeah. Wears this outfit to comply with Dwight's dress code memo.
A tuxedo.
And then discovers a listening device in this gift from Dwight and uses it to pull various pranks.
The mallard.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try to get them all. We're only missing 3 right now.
Okay.
Helps Pam invent such diseases. Yeah, the one about the liquid
Yeah, that
dento hydroplosion.
Yes, yeah.
It needs to like give me if I'm close enough. It needs to
dento hydro. I think it's something like that. Hydroplasion or
hydroplosion. Yeah, I don't know. It's that I feel like we have it.
Yeah.
That just should count. Puts this in Dwight's office drawer to convince Dwight he has killed someone. It's like a bloody something, I think. Bloody knife, bloody
I have no memory of that one.
sock. Bloody Glove. Maybe it's like an OJ. Oh, it is Bloody Glove.
They must have cut that one from.
Yeah, maybe it's like like two
yeah.
Maybe podcast. I'm just got canceled for that or something. I don't know. Tells Dwight one of these in the women's room. What?
Because he goes in there.
A man.
No, he one. Yeah, he one told me that. That's when he's like listing them off.
Oh, and then he sees somebody on the can.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, I saw Meredith on the can.
There's a bong, or there's a
bomb. It might have been a bomb.
No, that's not it. All right, I'm gonna give up. We're gonna see. So the first answer, dude, they should have given me that one. It's spontaneous dental hydroplosion.
Still, I'm impressed.
I said dental hydroplosion.
Yeah, come on. Sporkle, Dorkle. What's it called?
Sporkle. Well, it's more like a dorkle to me. Tells Dwight one of these is in the women's room. Abandoned infant.
Oh, okay. Yep. He's on Meredith on the can.
And you see Jim be like, ooh. Oh, man. Just good times. So, all right, man. I mean, we could talk forever about this.
Yeah.
I think this is going to wrap it up.
We're going to the beach.
Thanks for listening, guys. Oh, real quick. Wednesdays. I think it's going to be a Wednesday episode. Do you have a win of the week? We do Wednesdays on a Wednesday.
My win of the week is recording podcasts with you guys.
Dude,
it's been so fun.
Yeah.
You know, I loved both of them. I loved the literally funny, just kind of, giving each other a hard time, and I love talking about serious stuff,
like
and so
screaming about candy.
Yes, and
or
then
talking about salmon.
100%. Like I just feel like that's the Venn diagram of me. It's like I love having fun and laughing, but I also take life somewhat seriously.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's my win of the week. Just like having you guys here, like it's just been. Man. It's crazy. Again, like when we tell that circle full story that I was in the room that you're now staying in.
Yeah.
Like it's just so cool. And you guys are welcome back anytime.
Thank you, man. We will come. I guarantee you we'll be back unless you move. Please don't move.
Please don't move. It's really nice to come here and stay for free.
Yeah. And, it really is amazing. I mean, we didn't stress about this trip at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was like we were going to our friend's house in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But instead we're just going to Hawaii.
Instead it's,
So it's like the nicest place on earth. If you guys like listening to, TJ's got a podcast of his own with Brooke. Brooke is hilarious.
Yep.
Funnier than TJ, probably.
I would actually say that.
Genuinely, they're both so witty, back and forth, hilarious. I'm going to be on their podcast. I'll probably, by the time this comes out.
That was weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're time traveling.
Yeah, exactly. So check out Walk in Love.
Yeah.
Sunny Morrow I'm so pumped about.
Yeah, it's our new women's fashion brand. Everyday Essentials, as fun as you are.
Fun as you are. I think that's so great. Catherine's pumped about it. And man, check out Sunny Morrow, check out Walk in Love.
Yeah, we have a discount code. I said on the last episode, I'll just keep it up for a little while. I don't know how long. Yeah, Ghostrunners.
Perfect.
All one word.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's so fun. My win of the week. We do need to talk about this real quick. So Thursday, after we record the podcast, Bethke's house. Bethke loves to host and loves to host and loves to brag about how good he is at hosting. In the most innocent you like that chicken? It's bomb chicken, isn't it?
That is my world, bro.
Oh,
that is my world famous chicken.
You love that guac right there? You love that guac? Oh, dude, so good guac. Avocados right there, dude. I picked them myself. I know how to pick them. I know how to pick all the great. No, I'm just kidding. He went
a little Trumpy on that one.
I know how to pick the best.
It's great.
The best avocados come from my house.
Look at those pits. You see the pits?
Great pits.
Yeah. Impeccable pits, okay? That sounds wrong to say impeccable pits.
Yeah.
I have impeccable pits on my property.
No one's got better pits than me.
Multiple acres of pits. Okay? No, he's just all about
you can't do it without the hands.
Multiple acres. Okay? Anyway, Bethke, all about it. But one of the things they have on their property is a cold plunge tub.
Yep.
And first of all, I shouldn't have done it. I was
you weren't feeling well.
No, that was probably the peak of man.
I'm not feeling great. Yeah.
And I already I don't even know if I succumbed to peer pressure. I succumbed to
you succumbed to hype.
Opportunity pressure.
You succumbed to the hype.
Well, I earlier you guys were playing pickleball and you're is Big Daddy going to play? And I was like, I can't not play with my friends in Maui. I'll play. So I got all sweaty playing pickleball.
Which, to be fair, in Colorado, I was sick. I played.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just got to.
Yeah, that's where you and I are same plane. We do this. It's just what we do.
You got to.
Yeah, because you're going to regret being I just laid around and tried to get better for 4 days.
Yeah.
It's no, it'll be fine. And so Yeah, played pickleball, wasn't feeling great. Had a little bit of food, and then I felt a little bit better. And then I was like, yeah, I'll cold plunge.
Yeah.
And I knew Beth Key was like, I can't wait for Brad to get in and just die.
Yeah.
He's going to be. And so I was like, I'm not going to give him any satisfaction.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so
You
of course,
crushed it.
dude. But yeah. And Beth Key makes it like, the battle roy, not battle roy, but like he like brought every single person that was there for dinner, because there was like our families, Ian's family and Beth Key's family all there. So there's like 20 people or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everyone, come on, Brad.
Come on, get in here.
Everyone, yeah. Okay, 3 minutes. Brad's going to do it. Come on. And I was like, we don't need to do that. I just was going to get in and just be by myself for a little bit. And, I get in, just water flowing out everywhere. And it was cold. I mean,
oh man, it's
frigid.
It's one of those things where like, because we play pickleball up there, like most Mondays.
Yeah.
And we do cold plunge afterwards.
Oh, you do?
And it is one of those things where like, I hate it. But I get it.
Yeah.
Like after I'm driving down the mountain, I'm like, man, I feel awake and ready to roll.
You do.
Yeah.
You feel refreshed.
So I get the like fascination and the reasons and all that kind of stuff, but there's nothing fun about it.
It was
just
something
painful.
Yeah. And of course he was like, does it feel fine? And I was like, no, it's freezing cold, dude.
Well, he gets in it and can't stop screaming. Like he's just like
doesn't surprise me at all.
But I think he gathered everyone around because a few weeks ago there was this guy there named Cam, and it was his first time ever doing
Cam,
it.
did I meet him?
Yeah, you met Cam.
Yep.
And he gets in and has one of the greatest reactions I've ever seen. I see black. Like couldn't like everyone's like breathe, dude.
So Jeff's just hoping I die.
100%. Like he was just looking for that sort of like first time. You think it's like you know what to expect. You're like, oh, I've been in cold water.
Right,
like I know what to expect, but it's just so cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that was the gathering to just like if you had a Cam reaction, like he was like, I see spots, I see the blackness is taking over. That's what he kept saying.
The black is taking over. You can't say that most places. Yeah, man. I did feel my my breathing did kind of like flutter.
Yeah, you're just like,
I didn't even know I was like, And then I got out and I like involuntarily was shivering a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Jeff will get in, scream and holler the whole time he's in there, and then Alyssa will get in and just be like.
That kind of explains their marriage, right? This is
the ladies get in and they go into like I'm having a baby mode, and they just like lock in and like every guy's like,
yeah. I definitely leaned into the humor a little bit. I was like, can anybody ask me some questions?
Yeah.
And then Catherine's whole thing with labor whenever she is pregnant is like, oh, I can do anything for 1.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so she said like, you can do anything for 1.5 minutes. I was like, you hear that, Ian? Anything. And so that was fun. Just like joking about that, whatever. But
and then so like you're like asking questions. People are like, how cold is it?
It was Ian's oldest boy was like 10 or 11. He's like, all right, does it feel like your hands are pins and needles? And I was like, ask me like a different question.
How cold is it? Yeah. Are you cold?
So I think we're gonna put it on Patreon eventually. Yeah. I'm sure it's up there for 4 weeks by now. But check it out. That was my win of the week / also some highlights of your daughter's week was watching you cold plunge. I was like,
last night. So at Shabbat dinner, we could say our highlight of the day and then our highlight of the week.
Yeah.
And Sonny's was watching you cold plunge.
Which is
you made
fun,
it.
Man. I was like, yes, if that's all it takes, Sonny, I will do it every time. Sonny also, random fact. So Sonny is your middle daughter.
Yep.
She's 5.
5, yep.
And loves the story of hot dog.
Oh man. You had told me that story and I think you told me it integrated.
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
Yeah. And then I told them and they were like, oh, that's funny. And so then I told you, I was like, the girls are into it. So you sent it in a voice memo. Yeah. And I no joke, we listened to that voice memo 50 times. And then that night we put our kids to bed. June comes out, our oldest, and is like, hey, Mom, can you come lay with me? Like I'm having trouble falling asleep. So Brooke's like, okay, I'll come in.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in June's bed talking, and all of a sudden they hear Sonny dead asleep. Hot dog. And they're like, at first they're like, oh, she's awake. Nope. She's just totally asleep.
When it's in your subconscious.
Yeah.
That's what it's
so all week, anytime we're in a room together, she comes over and whispers to me, Dad, say hot dog.
Still,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, okay.
Because the first time I met her, I was like, oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to connect.
But she's like
she's so shy.
You got to warm up. She's got to warm up to you. But once you have her, she'll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She reminds me a lot of Hattie in that regard of like like she kind of rolls her eyes at me when I ask her, like when I make like a stupid dad joke.
Yeah.
Like,
but like 2 weeks from now, she'll be like, "Can you send Brad some? Like, can you send Brad this picture? You know,
that's so classic. Like, in the moment, you're like, I swear they're like, crazier than this. And then after they leave, it's like all they want to talk about. Yeah,
100%.
I miss my kids. It's been fun being around your kids, and fun to be here. So thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for TJ for filling in.
Thanks for having me. It's so fun.
It's.
I'm coming to Kansas City to record more.
Come on, dude. Anytime. You're available.
Yep.
Moms on Maui. Let's talk about it real quick again.
Okay, so
just a huge plug for moms out there.
All right, yeah. So men have no issues doing things that we love.
No
most
issues.
Like if we
1.5
play
minutes
sports. If we're lucky.
Yeah.
Like we'll join rec leagues, we'll play pickleball, I play video games, we'll do CrossFit. Like we take time to do the things that we love. Moms, on the other hand, especially moms of young kids, enter a stage of life where that's really hard for them. They kind of forget who they are. They don't know if they have any hobbies anymore. They're so just in the weeds of taking care of young kids. And obviously as dads, we're helping, but it's just, I think it's just different in sort of the genders and the personalities and stuff. And so Brooke and I have always had this, like, most of our following is young women, so like we're talking to them a lot of the times. And we just have this heart for like giving moms the ability to like kind of refresh and rejuvenate, to fight the good fight of motherhood. One of the highest honors God calls us to is being parents.
Right.
And so I threw out this idea one time. I said, what if we were talking about like doing these retreats and this kind of stuff. And I said, what if I just left and you had a retreat here?
Yeah.
Because Maui is, there's something magical that happens when you come to the most isolated islands on planet Earth. So the Hawaiian Islands are the most isolated on planet Earth. They're the furthest away from any sort of mass population.
Yeah.
So when people come here, they just like, you're in a different time zone. Past 9 o'clock, you don't get a single text because everyone is asleep. Right. And so it like really allows you to unplug. And I said, so instead of doing this retreat on the mainland, which we were trying to plan, like what if I just left and you have ladies come here? And so Moms on Maui was born. And it is 5 nights in Maui with Brooke, kind of playing tour guide and host, and just like giving you time to just like honestly let your nervous system relax, like let yourself, and then also have a ton of fun. Like she's like, we laughed so hard we peed, like that type of vibe.
But it's like similar, like our Ghostrunners getaway, but specifically for moms. Some single ladies have applied, and there'll be single ladies that come, but like like women in general, especially because I think women have a harder time finding like Brooke always is like, specifically in the church, she's like, I love women's events, but like, does it have to be another tea party? Like, can it be something like a little more fun? And just like, like guys are throwing axes and blowing up cars, and it's like, okay, like, we're kind of sweet. Like, and she's like, ladies like to laugh and have fun too. And so it's kind of a blend of all this, there's some serious moments, and it's like not super scripted, but it's just like, but what's really cool is we've had 2 of them now, both times, both weeks, both 5 days. At the end of the 5 days, different women have had their Apple Watch alert them that they have a new resting heart rate. And that just to me is like so cool. And all, I can send you a link to it and people can read about it, but it's been pretty cool and pretty life-changing. And it's something that I think we're going to try to do over and over again because of just like that. I think it's a need. I think it's something, because I think moms are like, oh, I'll just go to, Target and walk around with a latte. And it's like, well, that's an hour of time. Like, I don't know if that's going to really rejuvenate you to, deal with all the things that kids bring to your, I appreciate that. It's awesome, dude. Yeah. Check it out. We'll put all the links down below for Tej and Brooke and their awesome family. But
dude, thanks for having me. We have some ghosty walk and love crossovers. It's the best fans.
Oh, I know.
You guys have the best fans. They're incredible.
Well, and I think that your fans, like Walk in Love is like the most adjacent as far as like fandom levels go.
Yeah. That's how Jake and Rachel met.
Yeah. Which is wild.
Yeah.
Just crazy that in that regard. It's wild. Like whenever we had that event in Lancaster, Gate CORB, on approach, it was, I don't know, like it was just like, I'm not worried about, or even like Moms on Maui, it's like, I'm not worried about opening up our house to our fans because I know our fans are cool.
100%.
Like, I'm not worried about doing Ghostrunners Getaway because I know our fans are cool. Like not many people can have that kind of confidence in their fans. So it really is, if you like Ghostrunners, check out TJ's
appreciate it.
stuff. So, yeah, man. All right. Well, let's go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach.
And I always say love you guys at the end.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Okay.
See ya.
Ghostrunners podcast. Everybody